You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, this is a perfect example of no matter how much you claim to be part of the social justice movement, how woke you claim to be, a member of the LGBTQ community, of course, Dawn Staley, the South Carolina women's basketball coach, of course, answered a question, I think, in a way that infuriated a lot of people on the left when Outkick asked her about transgenders in women's sports, and she took a hell of a long time to answer the question. Well, I don't know if that upset somebody, if that made somebody mad. I don't know what happened. But Dawn Staley was very vocal about her faith as a Christian, and she got very vocal and very open about that. And that did not sit well with the wokes at all. And now they are coming after South Carolina and Dawn Staley. They want to shut her up. And as you can see that headline right there, it's a holy war. I mean, she dared to proclaim her faith. Now, one could argue, I don't exactly understand her opinions or how she views her faith or her beliefs, but nonetheless, she was very vocal about supporting Christianity and how important it was to her. And now they have come after her, and they want to shut her up. I don't know if this will teach her any lessons when it comes to openly supporting one side of the political fence, but this is pretty wild. A coalition whose goal includes censoring select Christians who make reference to their personal faith has demanded the University of South Carolina censor its women's basketball coach. But officials with the Rutherford Institute has volunteered to help defend the school from the attack by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Wow. The fight is over comments by Dawn Staley, the coach of the Gamecocks, which came after the team defeated Oregon State last month to advance to the NCAA's Final Four. The team later won the title. Staley was interviewed and was asked, quote, "Since the last two games have been close and tough, what's impressed you about this team?" She praised the players' resilience and added, quote, "I'm giving all the glory to God, though. The devastating loss that we had last year to put us back here with a totally different team. If you don't believe in God, there's something wrong with you. Seriously, I'm a believer. I'm a believer because he makes things come true. When you're at your worst, he's at his best." Well, I can't argue with her on that one. I can't argue with that. Within hours, the FFRF had ordered the school to, quote, "take action to protect its student athletes and to ensure that Staley understands that she has been hired as a basketball coach and not as a pastor." Wow. It also issued a demand that Staley, quote, "be educated as to her constitutional duties under the Establishment Clause." The protest group also complained that Staley had posted Bible verses on her own social media accounts and was involved in devotionals. They're mad that on her own personal accounts, she's got Bible verses? Talk about invading somebody's personal space. Rutherford now has advised the school that, quote, "to prohibit Coach Staley from making any reference to biblical passages as a source of motivation and team building, while allowing her to make references to circular writers and stories would be discriminatory and may evidence hostility to religion," the letter said. Coach Staley is tasked with motivating her players as a team to win. After winning the NCAA championship this year, freshman Tessa Johnson credited the team's success with the environment Staley helped create. We're unselfish people, and that's how we win it, the letter said. Quote, indeed, the Bible contains many passages that call for people to be unselfish and work as a team. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his interest, but also to the interest of others. The body is one and has many members. If one member suffers, all suffer. One member is honored, all rejoice together and love your neighbor as yourself. The letter to South Carolina Chief Michael Artemis, I'm not sure, explained that while the Constitution says the government, quote, may not establish or compel a particular religion, it also may not silence or suppress religious speech merely because others take offense. Bravo to South Carolina. It continued, people are free to ignore, disagree with, or counter the religious speech of others, but they cannot compel the government to censor such speech. So the letter said the FFRF has the right to complain about the actions of university's women's basketball coach Don Staley, but it does not have the right to compel the University of South Carolina to suppress the religious speech and expression made by Coach Staley as a private citizen. It notes the Supreme Court previously ruled, quote, learning how to tolerate speech or prayer of all kinds is part of learning how to live in a pluralistic society. The court further affirmed that while public officials and employees, quote, can act on the behalf of the state, they are private citizens with their own constitutional rights. While the government may not establish or compel a particular religion, it may not silence and suppress religious speech merely because others take offense, said the constitutional attorney John W. Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute. And the Rutherford Institute, I think, has gotten involved here and maybe trying to help the school out, the college out in this. But, wow. I mean, I didn't see this coming. Generally speaking, Don Staley is sort of put up on a pedestal, and nobody questions much of what she says. Yeah, because probably the political side of the fence that she leans on. If she still leans there, I don't know. But nonetheless, they tried to squash her, and South Carolina said, we're not going to do that. We're not going to make her shut up. And this, again, this shows you, it doesn't matter how woke you claim to be. They will still come after you. They will still attempt to squash you and close your mouth and censor your voice, especially when it comes to religion. And I tend to believe, and I don't get into this much on this channel, but I tend to believe that, you know, the attack on Christianity is real, and it's part of the problem with society right now. And Lord knows I'm not without sin, so I'm not going to get in this and be preachy at all. I'm the world's worst about dropping an F-bomb in a video. I never said I was perfect. Wow, that's pretty crazy. They didn't waste any time to come after Don Staley at all. I don't align with hardly any of Don Staley's views on anything. I agree with her on this one. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.